is a matter that goes to the heart of public trust, the integrity of our institutions, and the very foundation of representative democracy. I rise in strong support of Bill 202, the Conflicts of Interest Ethical Governance Amendment Act introduced by my colleague, member from Sherwood Park, and I urge all members of this Assembly to join us in fixing what is severely broken. The problem is eroded trust and real scandals this UCP government is embroiled in and being investigated for. Bill 202 will increase transparency and accountability. As many of my colleagues have expressed, Albertans are deeply frustrated. Recent years have exposed a series of scandals that have shaken their confidence in how this UCP government operates. These are not just policy missteps, but how power and influence are exerted. Let's start with the good old Skybox scandal. We all saw senior government officials, including cabinet ministers, attending playoff games in box suites, corporate luxury boxes, given by companies that do business with this very government. As reported in public accounts, this was more than a perk. It has raised a serious question of access, favoritism, and what it means to pay off a government. I mean, all we have to do is look at the Corrupt Care scandal. There are well-documented allegations of cronyism and mismanagement in procurement processes, especially in Alberta Health Services. The Wyant report makes it explicitly clear decisions around contracting private surgical centres were tainted by conflicts, and many of the contracts were awarded in ways that benefit political insiders. Absolutely unacceptable. Then, next, there is the Turkish Tylenol fiasco. This UCP government bought $70 million worth of pediatric acetaminophen Tylenol from a Turkish supplier, a deal that is deeply flawed. And much of that medicine remains unused, sitting in warehouses, which is costing Albertans millions of dollars to store, incurring more storage costs, and raising very big red flags about the procurement judgment and the political patronage of this government. In this legislature, we have repeatedly asked to this UCP government, how did this happen? Who benefited? Why are these decisions being made, and where is the transparency? We have asked repeatedly. These are not abstract policy debates. They are real stories with real costs to Albertans, real costs to taxpayers, real costs to health outcomes, and to the public trust. My colleague brought forward Bill 202 because it's obvious that the current ethics regime is weak, and Albertans deserve transparency and accountability from every single member of this House. Bill 202 is not a symbolic gesture, it is concrete. It lifts the gift threshold, which has been loosened in 2023. The UCP government lifted the limit of gifts from $200 to $500. For event tickets, from $400 to $1,000 before the Ethics Commissioner oversight is even required. And what is even more troubling is these thresholds were moved into regulation, meaning Cabinet, and not this legislature, that means UCP Cabinet can change them unilaterally without any public consultation, without any debate in this House, and what's even worse is that political staffers and powerful unelected insiders will be able to operate under fewer rules and far less accountability and transparency. What exists is not acceptable. It creates a system which undue influence is normalized. Ethics become negotiable. When public officials accept lavish gifts, when insiders stand to profit, and when oversight is minimized, the risk of corruption or the appearance of it increases rapidly. Perception is everything when it comes to public trust, and it is our responsibility as elected officials to uphold the highest level of integrity. And quite frankly, this UCP government over the past 6 years has made obvious decisions to completely destroy the public trust. However, Bill 202 offers an olive branch, if you will, to this UCP government to show Albertans that they too care about transparency and full accountability, that they do not care for kickbacks, that they do not take kickbacks from friends, that they do not take kickbacks for relatives, that in fact they will be accountable and transparent to Albertans. This bill offers real reform in this House. It's bold, it's smart, it's strategic, and it will show Albertans exactly what this UCP government values. The bill targets the precise weaknesses in our system, and it repairs them. The bill provides stricter gift rules, which means that any gift over or worth more than $100 must be disclosed to the Ethics Commissioner within 15 days. Gifts to ministers or to their staff from lobbyists or to those who have businesses will be prohibited altogether. This means no sweeteners and absolutely no backdoor influence. It's time for a mandatory code of conduct for all political staff, all political appointees, anyone who works close to power. Everyone will be bound by clear, enforceable rules about gifts, disclosure, and investigations. This is vital to democracy. Far too often, unelected insiders escape scrutiny, even though they also hold immense power. Bill 202 expands the definition of conflict of interest. It doesn't just target actual conflicts. It targets perceived influence situations where decisions might shape by private interest or appear to shape a decision that is being made. Public trust is not only what is legal, it's also about what feels right to Alberta's citizens. Greater restrictions on the influence of misuse of power is what feels right to all Albertans. MLAs would be prohibited from influencing decisions for personal benefit or on the behalf of a close associate. The Ethics Commissioner would be strengthened, not weakened. In fact, our province could set a new national standard. The $100 threshold for gift disclosure would demonstrate that gifts do not influence governance. This is the very foundation of accountability, trust, and democracy, and that is what this bill offers and why it matters so very much, particularly in the time where we have scandal after scandal. Some might argue that $100 gifts are small. Why would we make legislative changes? But, Mr. Speaker, it's not about the dollar. It is about power and how it influences the decisions and the choices that are made in this House. When politicians accept big perks, skyboxes, luxury hospitality from companies that this government does business with, it simply creates an environment that leads to scandal. When insiders reap big contracts, like the ones that have been alleged with the Corrupt Care scandal, there is little consequence or public airing of how these deals were struck, and our democracy is completely weakened.